I'm Taylor Hanson, and I'm with HANSON Brothers Beer. This is What the Ales Beer of the Week with MMMhops IPA. HANSON Brothers Beer has been quite a journey. You know, we've been making beer for over a decade now, and it really started with just a love of flavor, and then also a love of community. Because as we, started off doing music, still continue to be a musician, we discovered great craft beer in cities all over the country, particularly all over the US, and of course internationally there's great beer already, kind of a history of that, but all of a sudden we were witnessing this birth of craft beer, and we said, well, we want to be a part of that. And we launched craft beer endeavors in 2013 and 2014, and we said we're going to do this, and it started with MMMhops because of our history with music, but we really kind of went, well, that's a beer that has to exist. And the commitment to beer was always one that we were very serious about because we're craft beer fans. We want to make great beer. And since we started HANSON Brothers Beer, so much has changed. There's so many great craft beers out there. There's so many great breweries. Oklahoma has, probably nearly 100 breweries that are operating now. And when we started off, I mean, there were less than a dozen that actually had even a brewery. They were a physical place. And so it's really exciting what's happening in craft beer. And this week we're featuring MMMhops with the What the Ale group, which is awesome, and reminding people that this sort of newly reimagined MMMhops IPA is available across Oklahoma. MMMhops has been on a bit of a journey. It started off, and I actually realized we have some of the original, the very different look. It was all bottles, of course. Craft beer has moved dramatically over towards, the cans. You see so many craft breweries in cans. When it all started off, cans were seen as sort of lowbrow, like, oh, I don't want a can. But the technology of cans has changed. It protects the flavor more. It actually removes the risk of light causing the beer to age and affecting the flavor. And so I think everybody's accepted that the can is a fully credible platform. In fact, many people prefer cans now, so you see lots and lots more cans from craft brew. But back in the beginning, it was a bottle, and you see this is a totally different look. The reason green was the original was because we were really inspired by Sierra Nevada. Like so many great, craft beer companies, Sierra Nevada was, a legendary, still a legendary beer. But as we were looking at really pushing to grow the brand this year, we kind of reimagined what MMMhops is. We started in music. As brothers, we continue to make music, and the name MMMhops is a play on the song MMMBop, which a lot of people know and a lot of people have a connection to it. And so we sort of let ourselves be a little less self-conscious with this can and said, we want people to know when they look at this can, like, is that actually HANSON? This is actually HANSON's beer. This is that HANSON. And we're not, we're proud of MMMBop. And if you know MMMBop and you know the history, it had an orange cover. The first record had it was a very clear aesthetic. And so we wanted to sort of go ahead and embrace that when you look at this can, if you have some love for that history, you can connect the dots between the beer and the music. MMMhops IPA is, I think, a really phenomenal beer. You got to brew things you like, so obviously we're proud of it. But I think it's very balanced. It's more of a true American West Coast IPA, really strong hop components, really bold. And at the same time, it's drinkable. The original MMMhops was a little more malty in its body, and it was actually pretty strong. It was 7.5% for a pale ale. Is pretty strong. MMMhops IPA is more truly hoppy on the front end flavor-wise, but alcohol content, it's 6.3%. So definitely took a step back because we wanted it to be still like a real, like a real boy. It's got some punch to it, but it's not so strong that you kind of get off your game after having, one or two of them. We want it to be something you can actually enjoy and have a couple and still, have a good hang with your friends and not have it be too strong. HANSON Brothers Beer has found a great distribution partnership with a brewery out of Illinois called Deshtil, and working with those guys, we connected on music, we connected on quality of beer. They're an incredible brewing partner, and they've built an amazing distribution network, which is independent and also really allows us to reach a lot of people. So HANSON Brothers Beer is sort of a little bit of a chapter 2 or 3, depending on the count. It's now in over a dozen new states. Oklahoma, of course, is the most important. And really, this year was an awesome chance to introduce the beer to a lot of new markets. You know, Tennessee, New York, Georgia for the first time, really. You know, Maryland. We're coming to a few new states that weren't even a part of the tour this year. Focusing on Texas, you know, so it's showing up all over the country. And of course, the most important thing to us is that people can find it in our home state. It says Tulsa, USA on the label of a HANSON Brothers beer because that's where it's born, that's where it's from, that's where it's imagined. And we want to make sure that Oklahoma craft beer fans can always get it. It's really fun to wrap the year up the way we are. This week we are sharing craft beer. We're also, after doing a tour all over the country, celebrating 20 years of launching our label and being independent, we're able to actually do 2 special shows at Cain's Ballroom. The 2 special shows at Cain's Ballroom really tie to the celebration of 100 years of Cain's, which I think is really special for all Tulsans. It's a venue that has been there as an anchor. It's one that we have a close relationship. We love the Rogers, who have really curated it over the last 20 plus years. And we are going to wrap up the year this weekend with 2 Christmas shows, you know, as the theme of the holidays, you know, is on everybody's mind. And not only will people be able to celebrate Cain's, celebrate the holiday season, which is always fun, and they'll also be able to enjoy a HANSON Brothers beer while they're there. Very excited about where we are with HANSON Brothers beer right now. Bringing great styles back, like HANSON Brothers Beers and Hops. Introducing styles like Pink Moonlight. People can also look for the Hazy IPA with peach, which is a beer I think a lot of people have fallen in love with this year. So hopefully you'll be able to find that across Oklahoma. And generally, as far as the craft beer nerds, you know, that are looking for, you know, what's out there and what's happening, from our point of view, you can expect to see more styles. Hopefully see the beer in more places, from retail to on-premise. And frankly, if you like it, tell your friends, tell your favorite bar to bring it in, because, you know, ultimately craft beer comes back to word of mouth. It comes back to community, and we're making beer that we want to drink, beer that we want to meet up with our friends and share, and that's what it's all about. We have a couple sort of themes within the HANSON Brothers beer culture. One of them goes back to the Hop Jam Festival and putting music and beer together. We like to say beer plus music equals awesome, because it always does, no matter what. You know, if you get those 2 things together, it's going to be an awesome time. But also, beer is really something that always brings people together. And so we like to say that this is brewed to share with the ones that really care. It's the people that you're going to hang out with. It's the people that you want to meet up with. It's not about being trendy. It's not about, you know, being, you know, the beer of the week always. Sometimes you are. But it's about brewing stuff that gets people together, and it gives you some additional reason to gather and to come together with your favorite people and share your favorite beer. I'm Taylor Hanson, and this has been What the Ale's Beer of the Week with HANSON Brothers Beer. Cheers.